He got to understand, Quickly got to understand, baby, that he got a target on his back. It ain't like the good old days when he was with the Knicks and he's under the radar and he could get his little 1-2 in because he's fighting to make a name and there ain't a lot of pressure from the other point guards. It ain't like that no more, champ. They know your name. They saw your contract. You think you one of them, you're going to have to prove it. Every starting point guard you play against want their pound of flesh. They want their pint of blood. They not playing. You saw what Darius did on the second night of a back-to-back. You think he could have sat that game out too. I hope you know that. He could have sat that game out too. He accepted the challenge. I think Quickley has to understand quickly that there's a target on his back and it ain't going to change. When you go up against Tyrese Maxey, fucking Trae Young, Jalen Brunson, any of the point guards in the Eastern Conference or throughout the NBA, they're not taking you lightly. They coming in there trying to give you that work. De'Aaron Fox, Ja Morant, they not playing with you. You better stop playing. They don't care about you being injured. If you're on the court, listen, they coming for that work. They coming to put that time in. Yeah, you had 25 last night. Cade had a triple-double. And he got the W. Listen, some of that flows your way. You got to understand these point guard duels, it's war out there. It ain't nothing to be, you keep playing. Ain't nobody, you got a target on your back. Like, it's really like that for NBA point guards. Ain't nobody playing with y'all. Like, they really giving each other that work. They don't care about our record. When you step on the court, they trying to put you under the ground. I think Quickley got to listen. He better understand what this is. He got what, 175 million, something like that. Ain't nobody playing with him. He better understand it's a war outside that no man's safe from, and he better stop bullshit. It's not a game. Listen. He can't afford to get outperformed. And they don't care about his physical health, his well-being. They just want to outshine him. They want to outplay him, and they want the world to know that they're better. He got to understand that. And that's something he got to deal with as a point guard. Point guard to point guard, that don't change. It don't, listen, at where the NBA is right now, whatever's going on with the Shooters League and whatever's going on with everybody else and all these different storylines, Jimmy Butler, LeBron, the point guards in the NBA don't give a fuck about none of that. They only want to deal with each other, mano a mano, every night. The games that are being played today, nigga, the guard's going to have to shine. Dame versus Jalen and all these other different spaces. You got the Pacers playing. You got 76. You got to listen. It's going to be guard central. That's the focus. That's what I look for. I look for the point guard battle first. That's the first thing I look for. Because that's important. You know what I'm saying? So we got to have an understanding. There has to be an understanding that he has to understand his place in all of this. It's not a game. That pressure is not going away. Those responsibilities are not going away. You're the point guard. And I understand he got his own agenda. We got an agenda. We have to fuse and connect both of those. Because he's going, listen, he had 2 assists. 25 points, 2 assists as our point. He's going to have to, listen, I know it's not easy. Because sometimes you got the green light, it might cost your team the game. Some games you pass a little too much, it might cost your team the game. You got to find the right amalgamation of scoring and passing and leadership. And like, it's part of the job. They pay you $175. You got to figure it out. Listen, the game is sold separately. The opportunities are in your face, but the game, all that's sold separately. You got to figure that out. And you ain't got a lot of time. Just like Scotty got to figure out his shit, you got to figure out this as the point guard. You have attributes, you have talents, you have gifts. You got to learn how to use those to put us in position. I think we could have won that game. We had control. Even with them shooting the way that they were shooting, we had control at points in that game, and we should have understood and read the room. As a point, you got to read the room. These niggas is on fire, and they not gonna stop shooting threes. That's what they're. Everybody tries to hit threes to beat us. That's everybody's game. They want to take the easy. That is the easiest road. If we can get these threes clicking, we can win the easy way and keep it pushing. Because they can't shoot like we shoot as a collective. We don't have the shooters. We don't. We can score, but we don't have the three-point shooters on a consistent basis that they have. We're starting to build something. I'm seeing some changes. More aggression from three. Shout out to Chris Boucher because he's back to shooting from his regular spots, which I was telling everybody he should have been shooting from the gate. I wish I would have kept that Twitter Spaces when I was talking about Chris Boucher last season, and I was explaining certain potentials about his game that we're seeing now. Because there was somebody that was really talking crazy, talking about what can't be and what he can't be. Now look at him. He's showcasing what he can do for the next team. But in all reality, we got players that have responsibilities. That's what comes with the paycheck. That's what comes with being a starter. That's what comes with being that guy. All right, you're in the league. Listen, you got to hold it down. And remember, the NBA is competing against all this other shit as well. Whether it be Netflix, Hulu, Max, Peacock, all these other entities that take people's attention. Listen, as a point, you got to accept that point guard battle because that's what the world want to see. Just as much as they want to see the other shit, they looking for, listen. Let there be a narrative about the point guard versus point guard wars. Watch everybody tune in because we want to see that. We want to see the guards versus the guards. We want to see the points versus the points. We like that. We're drawn into that battle. And then the rest of the game will be more interesting. But they pulled away from that storyline. Hopefully they'll get back to it. And you're going to be right in the thick of that shit. And you're going to have to hold it down. You got to take this thing a little differently. You got to understand that you're not under the radar anymore. He has to understand that he's no longer under the radar and they're not going to take it lightly on him. These NBA point guards got him on their list. They trying to put up numbers against him. And all NBA point guards ain't created equal, but they see you as, listen, they trying to make a name against you and maintain their name against you. So you're losing both ways. You're going to have to step up and do something because right now that 40 piece that Darius gave you and then the triple-double from Cade, you got to show up and shine. If you're going to be on the court, I don't want him to be a guy who thinks, like I said, with Scotty, you can't just take nights off. We can't afford that. We don't have the team to do that. You got to hoop every night. Give us your best. And it's not easy to figure out when to shoot, when to pass. Is this part of the team's game plan to give me open shots? And do me shooting take away from our opportunity to win? You got to pick your spots. You got to read the room, read the score, check what the fucking referees are into, pick up the mismatches, find out and pay attention to who's hot on the other team and what their game. They drawing and they kicking out. All right, you got to have a audible. You're the coach on the court. I understand Darko's the coach on the bench, but on the court, listen, that's your job to like, come in, we got to fix this. Soon as it looked like after 2 of those, you got to fix, come on, we got to fix it. And they ain't even got to be 2 consecutive threes. It could just be 2 threes just in the same regards, drawing and kicking out and they open. Listen, we got to figure something out. Got to figure something out. Or else we going to get set on fire. And they tried to set us on fire, but it was still close, which is, and we didn't even, it was such an emotionless, unenergetic performance. Like we didn't go at them the way if we would have actually go at Detroit, even with that performance, I think we would have buried them. I think just if we would have, as the point is a lot of responsibility, and it's more than just putting the ball in the basket and bringing the ball up the court. There's a lot of little things and little nuances that we need him to understand and utilize throughout games. Because I think we could have won that game, even with them being on fire.